All right, so about 2 years ago now, on a Super Bowl Sunday, my good friend Adam over at STG posted a video about his bladed Slayer bait. And the whole video was all about how the CEO of Z-Man himself actually contacted Adam and informed him of the few patents that Z-Man has around the chatterbait. One being around the blade shape and the other being around the direct connection to the head. Well, here we are 2 years later, we've come full circle, and that patent on the direct connection for the chatterbait has expired. And now, for the first time ever, we actually have an option for us smaller and home bait makers. The bladed Slayer molds from Epic Bait Molds allows you to make your own direct connect chatterbaits right inside your shop. Hey, what's going on, all my fellow bait chuckers out there? Welcome back to Area 52. Now, today we're talking about the bladed Slayer molds from Epic Bait Molds. There are two different bladed Slayer molds. Today we are going to be using the bladed Slayer 2 specifically, mostly because I don't have a vise, I don't know how to tie skirts, and the bladed Slayer 2, all of these here have collars on them. So my hope was I have some leftover jig skirts from when we did the dice bait molds, and then I got a bunch of different colors, but I picked out two in particular today, and we'll be using the bladed Slayer 2 with the collars, and we'll use the pre-made skirts because, again, I don't know how to tie. I do have a vise on the way, but I'm gonna have to go back and watch all of Adam's old videos because I need to learn how to tie some skirts. So I'll just be using some of these Dirty Jig tackles. These come in 5-packs. You can grab them off Tackle Warehouse. I'll have links down below in the description. And if you happen to be more advanced or handy with a vise and tying, you can head to Barlow's because you're looking at the newest member of the Barlow's affiliate program. Go ahead and use code 8BIT over there at Barlow's. You can get yourself some skirting material. They have a bunch of different kinds, as well as all the different components that you're going to need, because there's a lot of different components used. I had no idea how many components are actually involved with putting together a bladed Slayer, bladed jig style bait. So all the components we're going to use today will be listed down below in the description. Those links are, of course, affiliate links in the description. So if you do your shopping over at Barlow's just by clicking those links or using the code 8BIT, a little bit of your purchase actually comes back to help out the channel. So we appreciate that. So again, for the sake of time here, I have my lead pot warmed up, already going. I do have my exhaust fan going right here. This is a charcoal filter with an exhaust fan, so all those fumes are being at least filtered by charcoal. And I also have the door here open to the shop, so I think ideally I would have an exhaust fan pushing air out that way as well. So because I don't want to keep huffing lead fumes, it is extremely dangerous. Please remember to take all the proper precautions, wear your proper PPE when you are working with molten lead. Now, lead pot is hot. We've got our bladed Slayer 2 mold all loaded up with our hooks. We're running 1/4 ounce, 3/8 ounce, and 1/2 ounce bladed Slayers today. And I have a varying set of hook sizes from 3/0 all the way up to 5/0. I kind of want to play around and see how small of a hook I can actually get into one of these bladed Slayers. The color I picked out specifically is going to be kind of a pro's pick or a purple haze, according to these Dirty Jig skirts I'm using here. I'm really kind of trying to roughly match this other color by my buddy Nick over at First Gen Fishing. One of their copperheads is a pro's pick. It's kind of got this purple shad vibe here that we got going on. And I'm going to try and match that because I watched his latest video and he absolutely destroyed them in our local ponds here. So the season's just kicking off. I need to catch some fish. So we're going to try and match pro's pick in some bladed Slayers. Whew. Again, using the bladed Slayer 2 mold. Okay, we got our lead mold all loaded up, but one thing I wanted to point out, it's very important, Adam pointed it out in his video, the way that these ports are set up, the splash is going to kind of happen backwards. So you want to start filling from this port here and then work your way all the way out to the edge of the mold. So that's exactly what we're going to do. All right, we want to make sure to get that nozzle right up in there. Oh yeah. Everything's looking good so far. Just like that. All right, the nice thing about lead is that it cools off very quickly. So these are already ready to demold. The mold is not hot to the touch. They're nice and cooled off. But one thing I wanted to show you first was that you have to be very careful about how you place your hardware into the mold. If you take a look, what I did was I already, on this first batch, I ended up putting the blade keeper in upside down. From watching Adam's video again, I realized that this opening needs to be pointed up towards the top. That's kind of key because you don't want your blade to fall off or get stuck when you're casting it. So, you know, I will try and use these. This is all for personal use. But you know, in this instance, I could always just dip these again and try and salvage some of the hardware. But overall, looking pretty good. I did an experiment here where, for example, this is the 3/8 and this has the 4/0 hook that comes, there's, you know, designed for, but I also threw in a smaller 3/0 hook, and I think I like the 3/0 hook better. So I'm going to downsize a little bit across the board. I really won't be able to use these, or at least I'm not going to powder coat them for now. We'll see. We'll figure out what we're going to do with those. But for these here, I actually ended up throwing in smaller hooks all the way across. So we have 2/0, 3/0, but I did go 5/0 here on the 1/2 inch because we want some Magnum style chatterbaits there. All right, so let's have a demold and see where we're at here. All right, we got some on one side, some on the other, but everything looks to be pretty good. All right, we got our blade keeper pointing in the right direction. All right, and we're just going to take our little flush cut pliers here, and we're going to wedge right up in there and nice and gentle. All right, see that? Nice flush cut. Boom, we're just going to clip off that lead, and that's going to give us a nice smooth finish. I mean, I don't even know if I want to sand that down. We're going to cover it up with powder coat, but there we go. We got our hook keeper right there by my finger, so that's pointing up where we want it, and we also have our opening onto the top as well here for the blade keeper. So pretty sweet. Look at that. Isn't that just a gorgeous little 1/4 ounce bladed slayer? Oh, it's gonna look so good. Okay, so the next step in the process after we have our jigs poured from the lead molds is to powder coat them. Now, after several texts back and forth with Adam, I was finally able to get 2 out of that first batch I made that actually looked good enough to, well, show on camera. Lots of fails. I've never done this before, so thank you, Adam, for all of the help. I think I'm getting closer. But I don't have fluid beds, so we're using a heat gun. We're dipping it into some matte black. We're brushing on some moon dust powder, and then we're heating it real quick and dipping it into the clear. Now, I've got 2 here. Again, this is from the first batch, and so this has the hook keeper, or the blade keeper rather, in the downward position. But you can see the powder coat turned out pretty cool, especially with some of that moon dust in there. I mean, I'll take it. I will certainly reuse this. And then I figured, well, I should take the better of the 2 and probably go ahead and build out a complete bladed slayer, since I've never done that before. So here we go. So here's a preview of the first round. The only problem is that blade keeper is in the downward position. But hey, there's hope. So let's try this again, and at least I'll show you the status where I'm at. The comment section can let me know where it is I'm going wrong. But you know, I don't know if there is a wrong way to do this, but I'm probably doing it that way, the wrong way. So, but we'll get there. We're gonna make it through, and then we're gonna make some sweet tactical shads to go along with this. So let's get going. I'm really excited. Making one gives me a lot of hope. So if any of you have had reservations, or maybe you're worried about, can you make these at home in your garage? There is a small learning curve, and I would say so far, I mean, pouring lead is fairly easy. Heating and dipping into the ceramic paint or the powder coat paint, that is by far the most difficult part of this process. And that's really just shaking your powders good, timing of the heat, and learning all of that. If I had fluid beds, I'm sure this would be much easier, but so far, there's hope. We can do this. And if I can do it, that means you can do it too. All right, so we're going to start with one of the bigger ones. This is the 1/2 ounce, just because it's easier to see on camera. So we're going to heat it up. I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Quick little dip and swirl, tap everything off, and then I'm going to come back. See, I can see right there it's already clumped up, which means, well, I don't know what that means. I either got it too hot but a little clumpy. Now, that's the problem. You know, and Adam warned me, is what's going to happen without a fluid bed. So just warming it up a little more and get that cooked on there. All right. Then you can see I have my moon dust here. I'm just going to take the lid. This is the Scully moon dust, a nice pink to green there is the shift. This is what we're going to use in our tactical shads. So I'm just going to take my little brush here and I'm going to grab it because I don't want to dip and contaminate the main moon dust jar. So I'm just going to grab it from the lid here. We're going to scoop some powder up. And then I'm just going to start to dab it and paint right on top of the head here. I can feel with my brush it's tacky still, which is good. We want it to be a little tacky. We don't want it to be sticky. Okay, and then we're just going to brush on. You can see we got the moon dust on there just like that. That's the bottom side. And now I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to get the top side as well. Try and do this so you can see it here. Just like that. Alright, now you can see we've got it fully coated here. Okay. Everything is good to go. So what we're going to do now is give it a quick heat, 2 seconds, and then into the clear. So 1, 2, right into the clear and out. I made a huge mess. That's okay. I've noticed, especially with the clear, a lot of it has clumped in the eye. So I've been kind of coming through with my brush and just getting some of that out there. That's okay. Just like that. Again, I don't know if this is right or wrong. I'm just trying to avoid some clumps. The comment section can let me know how horrible of a job we're doing. But this is what I've been doing, and then just heating it back up so it clears itself over. Just like that. We got a nice shiny glaze on it there. Just like that. And that's how we've been doing it. Now, again, you'll notice, I don't have any heat shrink. I don't have heat tubing. So I'm just trying to do this an unorthodox way. I know a lot of people are anxious to try it. I was very anxious to try it. So I'm just going to come back in afterwards with my flush cuts, and we'll scrape off all the powder coat that's around that hook. So that way we have a nice clean area for our bladed jig. Now again, if we put that heat shrink over top of there, it's going to avoid that issue altogether, and you won't have to worry about cleaning that blade off. But right now, it's looking pretty good. I'm real happy with this one. We're just going to continue down the chain and see how many more we can get. Alright, so now that we have everything powder coated, you can see we used Scully for most of it, but these two here we ended up using De Schwartz. We have our blades picked out for our final assembly. We're going to use normal blades here for the 1/2 inch. We have a gold blade here, normal size, I'm going to use for one of the 3/8, and then I dropped down to a small size blade here for the other 3/8. Adam informed me that you can use the large blade for a slower retrieve and the smaller blade for a faster retrieve. So I'm going to try one of each here on the 3/8 size. The 1/4 ounce obviously gets the small size blades here, and then we're going to use the size 2 duo snaps across the board for all of them right here. So I went ahead and saved you from watching me put the eyes on. So we already put the eyes on all of these baits, but you can see here how there it is right there. You can see that nice moon dust reflecting in there. Now I only got the light coming from one angle, so you're seeing mostly pink and purple there, and you're going to see mostly the green on the Schwartz there. But I tell you, you throw a coat of clear over top of these and it looks absolutely incredible. Highly recommend you mess around with the moon dust and the clear coat. It works out really, really well. So let's get to assembling now. It's pretty easy. All we have to do is basically insert the snap into the blade and then attach the blade here, and then we'll close up the loop. All right, we're going to come from the bottom side of the blade here. stick it all the way through. Make sure to get it vertical, and you can see it wants to set right down in that bottom hole there. So then we're going to come over to the top side and make sure we push it down. Sometimes you got to give a little squeeze, poke it through, and then we come on the bottom side and we close our snap like normal. And there we go. There is our snap, all set, ready to go. Now we just need to attach our blade. Now we want to be very careful. We want to make sure that our bend is facing up in the blade so we get the proper action. So we'll flip it upside down here, slide it right on top of our little blade keeper. Then we're going to come in with our rounded nose pliers and we're just going to close that up. Give it a nice little twist. Close up that connection there. And there you go. Now we have a beautiful bladed slayer, and it is ready and waiting for a beautiful skirt. Oh, look at that. Just disappears. You got a nice black head, and then boom, you get hit with that purple and that gold color shift from the Sully. Awesome, awesome stuff. Turned out pretty good. Not too bad for a first time ever trying to powder coat. I'll take it. Okay, so it's time to add our jig skirts onto the jigs. We're going to use some of these purple haze skirts here from Dirty Jigs Tackle. This is what I have. And one thing you'll notice on all of these here, the band is further over to one side than the other. And what I learned, the reason for that is because when you take your jig, by the time you put your hook through and everything, when the strands bend over on itself, they all end up being the exact same size. So there's a little extra length on one side, so they'll bend over. We're just going to go ahead and flip these over, and I definitely want to have the white side on the belly because the baits that we're going to make are going to have the colorful side on the top, and we're just going to be going with a white pearl belly. So we're going to go ahead and get our jig skirt all ready, and then we'll make sure to get all the strands on the proper sides. Just a little bit of extra work in the beginning really helps to have a better end product. So we're going to go ahead and take our hook, make sure we have it the right way that we want it, stick it right in the middle there, slide it through, and then that band is just going to come right up and over. Okay, we're going to push it right over top of our hook keeper and then keep going, and then right up and over the collar. It's okay, put a little force into it, but be careful. You also don't want to you don't want to hook yourself. Make sure that that is up and over the collar. Not quite there. We got a little more to go. Okay, there it is. There it is. You can kind of feel itself seat on there. Now again, we'll go through. We want to make sure to pick any strands that may have gotten stuck behind the hook keeper. We'll get all of that stuff out. We have the purple side towards the top, which is what we wanted. We have that white side towards the belly, which is what we wanted. And so now, when we flip this over and we kind of straighten everything out, we have got ourselves a beautiful, beautiful bladed slayer. Look at that. First day, first time ever trying it. That is a beautiful half-ounce bladed slayer with some moon dust, color shifting, hollow shifting powder on the head. You can do this at home yourself. This is absolutely incredible. I mean, the fact that Adam and Epic Bait Molds, Jason and Adam, put their heads together and just came up with this mold for all of us home bait makers, small business bait makers. This is a game changer in the bait making world, I will say. That's pretty cool to be able to make your own chatterbait. Not gonna lie. Awesome stuff. Part is over. We have ourselves a nice grouping of bladed slayers. Pretty awesome. Definitely was a small learning curve in terms of, dipping the jig heads into the powder paint, but nothing that couldn't be solved in an hour or so of learning. So you might go through a handful of jigs, kind of to be expected, but way easier than learning how to pour soft plastics, I tell you. I still haven't mastered that yet, but awesome that we have a bunch of bladed slayers. So now the next thing to do is to make some trailers. Yeah, I think that's next. So let's bust out the good old tactical shad, get to work. All right, if you hear any extra chomping, that's this guy's fault over here. He's got a brand new bone. Link, what are you having? All right, hopefully he won't be too much of a disturbance the rest of the video. But with great chatterbaits or bladed slayers, we obviously need a great trailer to go along with it. Well, the Tactical Shad has turned out to be an amazing bladed jig trailer, in addition to being an amazing strolling bait. So if you don't want to go out there and scope with the Tactical Shad, you can certainly pour some solid colors or even some laminates as a phenomenal trailer. We went ahead and melted some remelt that we had. We took the transparent chartreuse and the green that we had from the live stream we did the other night from the moon frogs that we made. And by the way, if you haven't caught that live stream, I will throw that in the upper right hand corner of the screen, along with a couple close-ups. For those of you that did watch the live stream, here's some of the moon frogs for you. Hope you guys like what we came up with. We'll be doing the live streams more and more, and a huge shout out to all 10 new members of the Squid Squadron that have joined the memberships of the channel. You get early access to videos, member-only live streams, all kinds of good stuff. But enough of that. Back to the Tactical Shad. We remelted some green that we had to match the green pumpkin shad kind of looking trailers that we had. And we also remelted some Morning Dawn and a little bit of a charcoal kind of gray plastisol. So we had some remelt, kind of got like a dark purple. But I really want to go ahead and do a nice laminate. We did all those in the 4.2 Tactical Shad, which makes some amazing trailers. But I also want to pull out the big guns for these half-ounce chatterbaits that we have. And we're going to be pouring the brand new 5.2-inch Tactical Shad. Now, I have some leftover Scully. That's the same color we used on the jig head. So we got about half a cup worth there. And that is just, the Scully left over from when we did the samples for the photo shoot of the moon dust drop. And then we got another half a cup of fresh plastisol here. And I think we're just going to go real simple. A nice little violet interference belly, maybe some black flake, maybe a pinch of holographic. And that's it. Real simple. Just some nice trailers to go along with our bladed slayers. All right, we have a fresh cup of plastisol here. Well, fresh half cup of plastisol. Now we have our Scully here, right, all set up with that purple, and that's going to match the top of the jig head here. That's the exact same color that we have here. But if we look at the jig, you can see we have this charcoal gray smoke in here, and then this pearl belly. So we're going to get that smoke with the black that is the backer here for the moon dust here, the Scully. But we're going to go real light here in the belly, and we're going to start off here with the interference violet. Now we have a half a cup. So normally I would do just a little bit, half of a 16th in a full cup. So I'm going to go kind of even less than that. Just want you to see how little of the interference powder we're putting in. The goal is not to make it a pearl color. The goal is really just to add a little bit of that powder in there and still keep it relatively translucent, because the black backer from the Scully above is really what's going to set it off. So we don't even need to add any flake into it, and we want to keep it relatively clear. You see, it's kind of cloudy, but it's not really pearlized at all. That's what we want. Next, we're going to come in with our .062 square black flake, and I'm literally going to take a pinch. We're just taking a pinch. That's it. You see that? Just a little bit right there. And do your best meme impression and just sprinkle that right in there, okay? Look at that. That's what we want. Nice and speckled through there, okay? Very sporadic. Last but not least, we're going to come in with our silver holographic. Again, we're going to take just the smallest little pinch, and then we're going to do our little meme impression again. We're going to sprinkle that goodness right there, and that's all we need. This is going to be a less is more kind of belly, okay? And you're going to watch that violet highlight in this sporadic black flake. In fact, I would even argue that is almost too much black flake for the look I'm trying to go for. But we're going to roll with it. It's too late now. We can't take it out. So let's get both of these colors reheated and ready to go. I think that's going to make for a great little laminate here. All right, we got both cups of plastisol ready to go. Belly on the left, back on the right. Back towards us, we have our prototype SDG multi-block over here. So mine is oriented specifically for me because I keep it that way. All right, here we go. Now we got a half a cup each, which should total a full cup of plastisol. Hopefully we can get both the 5-inch and the 4-inch. I think we can. We should be able to get both in a single pool. I hope. That 5-inch, man, it takes up a lot of plastisol. It's a big bait. We're going to give it a shot here. We're going to give it a shot. Oh, I heard air bubbles. I don't know. I don't know. Oh, that was a boo-boo. Big boo-boo. Can we salvage it? Maybe. Maybe not. All right. So the 4.2, definitely a fail. We got the full shot on the 5.2, that's for sure. I guess half a cup of plastisol on each side is absolutely not enough to hit both molds. That is good to know. All right, since we didn't do a purge pile, we're going to be stuck looking at the blending block here, okay? And let me get both of these out and not fumble everything. Now if we put these back to back, you can see that we're going to get that nice smoky purple. That's what we wanted with that Scully. And then that violet interference is going to play off that black underneath. You see that there? I think these baits are going to look really good. We might even get a little dome effect going on with the reflection of that Scully moon dust. You never know. All right, let these cool off and let's demold. All right, let's get to the 5.2-inch tactical shad demold. We know that this one shot, so this is the one that we will take a look at first. Again, 5.2-inch tactical shad, bigger, beefier 5-cavity mold. Just the same exact bait that you know and love, just slightly bigger and a little more chunky. All right, which side? Can we get them to come off on one side? Okay. Oh, this is looking good already. This is looking real good already. Look at that, how the tails go clear right there. Oh, that is some good stuff. Looks like the Scully stayed just along the back. At the right angle, you can see it turns that smoky color. And back here, you can see the reflection that's happening, right, from the different light angles with the light hitting that moon dust there, that Scully. Oh, look at that's a little interesting. Got a little backup in the tail there. All right, this fish had too much Taco Bell, I guess. All right, well, let's peel back and have a look. Oh, and look at that violet belly. Now, do you remember how clear? Do you remember how clear that belly was? Let's turn it to the side. You can see it right there. And look at that. That looks like a triple. It almost looks like a triple laminate. You have that moon dust, that Scully doing its magic on the top, right where that black mixes in with the clear belly. It's setting off that violet interference, and on the belly you get that clear kind of violet interference going on. Pretty sweet. Now look at that right down the edge here. You can see where that yellow shifts off to the green and that extreme. Oh, it's good stuff. Purple to yellowish gold to green. That is the Scully. You can see it. All that color shift happening right there. All through the body as we just change the angle of light. We come down here, you can see all that purple and gold. And we move up, you can see that green off that extreme reflection there. A lot more shift you get now with the moon dust over the hollow shift because it's larger. And so you get a lot more light refraction. So you can kind of see all through the back area here as we turn. You see where that gold kind of runs through the bait as it shifts through. So as these baits are, flapping around in the water, you got all kinds of shimmer and all kinds of stuff going on there. And that stuff right there, it's just going to drive a fish absolutely insane. Okay, I like big trailers, and I cannot lie. Whew, and you other bait makers can't deny that 5.2-inch tactical shad looks phenomenal on the back of that 1/2-ounce bladed slayer. Look at that. Nice long tail. We got a big normal size blade up front, standard size shaky blade, direct connected to the head, I might add. Awesome, awesome stuff. We have our head covered in Scully moon dust. We have our jig skirt, and then we have an amazing 5.2-inch tactical shad trailer with that Scully in the back and that purple in the belly. That is going to look awesome as that tail is just back there flapping back and forth. Look at that. Just, I mean, I'm wiggling it for you, but that is just incredible. Look at the color shift you get in the bait all the way through the back down to the tail. Just absolutely gorgeous. Love it. Looking great. If we look at the belly, there's that violet interference. Awesome stuff. 5.2-inch tactical shad on the back of a 1/2-ounce bladed slayer. I mean, does it really get much better than that? Bait chuckers, we tried something brand new today. A couple of new things actually. We made our first ever bladed slayers. First time I ever attempted making a bladed jig or a chatterbait. And we learned how to powder coat the hard way. I've never done that before either. So it's been an episode of firsts. And you know, I was real nervous about doing the video, but then I just said, you know what, we're going for it, bar down bait style. So we just went for it. I fumbled my way through it. I think the baits turned out not too shabby. I'm pretty happy with myself. They are by no means perfect at all, but they will only get better over time. So really looking forward to getting more time with the lead pouring and the bladed slayer mold. And coming up next, we're going to have the bladed slayer 1. And I want to try Jacob's trick of doing the propeller head, because y'all know the Okashira screw head is my favorite way to fish a slick swim. So if we can do that with Adam's SDG Go-To mold, also by Epic Bait Molds, that'll be cool as well. So lots of fun stuff to learn. We are expanding our capabilities here inside of Area 52. You can see right behind me, we got the airbrush station set up, working our way closer and closer to actually busting out the wood shop and doing a wooden bait. So someday soon, you will see me fishing with my own masterpiece. So until then, I think it's time to wrap and cap this video right here. The Bladed Slayer 2 mold, awesome bait. Again, links to everything you need to make these baits at home will be down below in the description as always. And until next time, everybody, y'all know who it is. Your friend on this end, Michael, out here around these Delta sloughs, reminding you to keep on chucking. I'll get back with you.